it's Ms. Reese, and I'm going to go over some of the problems on pages 28 and 29. These are our special right triangles. It's a good review of these triangles before the test. So as you're looking through these, I'd recommend also having your toolkit out. And so toolkit with each of these kind of special right triangles. So I'm just going to copy this over onto my other page, so I'm not going back and forth. And I'm just going to cover up these first two questions. So I'm just going to do a few questions with you from page 28 and on page 29. So on page 28 here, we've got our special right triangle. This is our 45, 45, 90. So we have this side here, which is 10, which means the other leg is also going to be 10. So if you notice these two legs, they are the same value. So they could both be 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, etc. So that means y is 10. And once we know the legs, from a leg to get to the hypotenuse, we multiply by 2. So 10 multiplied by 2, multiply by square root of 2. So we're going to multiply by square root of 2. So 10 multiplied with square root of 2 is 10 square root 2. Okay, the process will be the same. I believe 43, 44, 45, 46 are all kind of that same process. 47 and 48, the only difference here is that instead of multiplying by root 2, well, we have a hypotenuse, we're looking for the leg, we are going to divide by a square root of 2 instead. So here, we could divide by square root 2. 6 square root 2 divided by square root 2, well, if we think about it, square root 2 over square root 2, any number divided by itself is just going to be 1. So that should just simplify out. So this is going to be 6. And whatever x is, y is going to be the same value. And with questions 49 through 52, the process is going to be kind of similar for these as well. So from here, hypotenuse to short leg, we divide by square root of 2. Now, unfortunately, there's no square root 2 on 8 to just kind of simplify out and cancel with the other square root 2. So this is 8 divided by square root 2. So we have to do what's called rationalizing the denominator. Multiply it by root 2 over root 2, which is essentially multiplying it by 1, not changing the value of the number, to get 8 root 2 over 2. Now, if the 8 and 2 simplify, remember, numbers outside of a radical simplify with each other, multiply or divide. Numbers inside, we would multiply or divide them. So 8 divided by 2, these numbers here, I'd actually simplify that to make a 4. So this would be in simplified form, 4 root 2. Same with this one here, 4 root 2. Okay, process for 50 should be the same. Process for 51 should be the same. And now this one will look in terms of the radical and where it's placed in the same. It'll be similar, but here we have our short leg, we have our long leg, we are multiplying by root 2. So 3 root 2 times a root 2. Well, think to yourself, that's really 3 times square root of 4. Really, that's 3 times 2. So really, that should just be 6. Okay. You're going to be doing this on the same process kind of for these problems here. You're just multiplying by a root 2 to get the hypotenuse, multiply by a root 2 to get the hypotenuse. And remember, numbers inside the radical should be multiplied by each other. And then that means this 2 here should multiply with this 3 here. Okay, now our other triangle relationship that we're looking at, those are our 30, 60, 90 triangles. So I'm going to go back here, take my 30, 60, 90, just copy and paste it. So I'm not going back and forth between the pages. Cover up these two for now. But those two are similar to ones that we've already are going to be doing together. Or actually, I'm going to cover up these two for now. There we go. Okay, so on a 30, 60, 90, we have our short leg, we have our long leg, we have our hypotenuse. And I always essentially go in between these two sides, short leg to hypotenuse. You're either multiplying by 2 or dividing by 2, or short leg to long leg, you're multiplying by root 3 or dividing by root 3. So always find the short leg first if you don't have that to start with. Okay, so for example, this is the short leg. This is the hypotenuse. So our pattern for that is multiply by 2. So times 2. 5 times 2, that's going to be 10. This is our long leg. Short leg to long leg, I know that's going to be multiplied by a square root of 3. 5 multiplied by square root of 3 is 5 square root of 3. Okay. On 57, kind of the pattern should be the same for this. The only thing is this is hypotenuse. This is going to a short leg, so it's kind of in the opposite order from short to hypotenuse. Instead of multiplying by 2, this time you're going to be dividing by 2. So if you imagine starting with 10 in this triangle, 10 divided by 2 would give you this 5 here. Okay. We'll do a few more together. Let's look at this one here. We can divide this by 2, hypotenuse to short leg. So that should be taking the 12 and dividing it by 2. And so this would be 6 square root of 3. And then we multiply by square root of 3. So to get the long leg, so that would be 6 square root 3 times square root 3. Well, really that's 18. And the reason it's 18 is because it's 6 square root of 9, which is really 6 times 3, which then gives me 18 for this side here. Okay. This one we divide by a root 3. And we should know what happens with the square root of 3's when they simplify or cancel each other out. And we have most of the problems are in kind of a similar format except for these last two here. The only difference is really they have a square root of 2 in them. So here from this side to this side, we divide by 2, hypotenuse, short leg, divide by 2. So that should give us a 5 square root of 2. Okay, and then you multiply by square root of 3 to get the long leg. And so that should give you 5 square root of 6.